Chapter 1. It all started with them goddamn hounds. 2 long howls taking turns ripping up the night. One low and hungry, the other high and wicked. They shook the cicadas right out of their wheezing ways and shut down the mud frogs mid-croak. Seemed like the whole daggone place pulled back into itself, waiting and wanting and watching, knowing what that racket really meant. Slave hounds. Mean, bad as sin, and kept hungry on purpose. Them dogs weren't just bred for hate, no sir. They was born straight out of it, each one dragging death behind them like a black dagger. Suki and her people stopped underneath the granddaddy tree, down in the belly of the Okefenokee swamp. The air was thick as swamp stew and carried the funk of rotten eggs and catfish slime. Mosquitoes whined around Suki's head, searching for a patch of skin. And the bloodsuckers, well, they want no better. They took turns leaving their sharp kisses all around her feet and ankles, digging down deep like a bad memory. Fear? Now, fear wasn't something that came and went like it did for regular folks. No, sir. It got pulled on every morning like an old coat, heavy and scratchy, smelling like rust and blood. Her man pulled her in close, steady as ever. Jumping the broom with him 3 years back had felt like catching a cool breeze coming off the lake at night. His neck and beard always smelled like pine sap. "Get low," he whispered. The moonlight framed his dark face in silver. Suki melted into the wet weeds. It felt like the swamp wanted them out, but it had no choice. Every other path was cut off. To her right was a white abolitionist, one of the few who made it out of the bleeding Kansas fracas, alive. Across from Suki was a little boy wearing an old rag for a shirt. He squeezed his eyes tight like he didn't want to know what came next. His mama? Well, she turned away. Her head drooped like all the marrow had been sucked clean out of her neck. Behind him, the old lady swore she'd rather jump off a cliff than wear one more chain. Next to her, a young fella hauled one leg behind him like busted hope. Every time that bad foot hit the ground, his jaw set hard, but he never complained. All of a sudden, a whip cracked, dicing up the quiet. Then came the sounds of boots, stomping, pausing, searching, while the dogs yapped and snapped, carrying on something fierce. "I make 2, her man said. "March too deep going west. They'll keep to the high ground east, if and they don't catch us first." "Suki? You got away, Suki?" her man asked, though she always did. She pressed her hand to her chest, where her relic warmed like it already knew. Then the old gullah words rose to her throat like smoke. Her lips barely moved as the air spiked her long, kinky hair on end. She felt her ancestors coming, hustling, gathering, and pressing down from the heavens, as she fell into a spell storm that no one else could see. She closed her eyes and began her kin chant. "Star dim twinkle, star dim shine. Which way safe, which way mine? Blind the hunter, twist his gaze. Light the truth, Been night's haze. Ancestors, kinfolk, got me slow and soft. Carry me safe where I must go. Then she called them, Abu, Ifeo, Inde, Tanzi, Zorome, the 5 lost queens of Dahomey. She waited. Nothing happened. She waited some more. The quiet stretched out while the queens found their way to her. The spell wind died down. Suki opened her eyes to little sparks dancing around in front of her, rising up, up, up to the skies. Once, twice, 3 times they danced before they stars. Then the big bear, the Big Dipper, took shape and pointed his big old paw north. And there it was, a path. A skinny green ribbon running through the cattails, winding past a dead tree, its limbs raised like broken fingers. The path ran through inky water and jumped under the roots of a mangrove tree. It was no easy way, but it was a way. One slip in the swamp or the hunters would take them. Either way, they'd be dead for sunrise. Suki snapped, "Stay right behind me. Don't stop for nothing." So they crawled on their bellies through the tall grass. First the young man, then the old lady. But the mama stayed curled up in the mud, staring at nothing, while her boy tugged her hand like a hurt pup. Suki's man scooped him up and crawled on. Behind him, that mama grabbed her throat, biting back a scream till the old lady turned back. She held her gentle-like, rocking her like a baby. But they moved. They were a ragged batch of scarecrows crawling through the muck and mire that night. Only Suki way up front saw the knees of the cypress tree part and the water grass bend out of her way. That night the lilies opened early, throwing out a faint blue light as every leaf, every bush bowed to Suki like they were her subjects. This was the power of her ancestors. They bent nature for Suki. Then they all dropped one by one into a shallow gash, a secret trapdoor of earth. "Get down," she said. They went straight down into the reeds just as the moon showed 2 riders smelling of whiskey and gunpowder. Steam smoke rolled out of their noses and also around the horses, wrapping them up like ghosts as it came closer. Torchlight caught their faces, sharp and hard as flint, staring down over their hidey hole. The wild hounds jerked against their leads, snapping at each other like they plumb lost their minds. A lash popped once, then twice, jarring the high-pitched cries, then it was quiet. Confused, the dogs nosed around, but it wasn't no use. The water had washed away their scent. "Must have gone west," one said, spitting tobacco on a plant near their hideout. "Ain't nothing here." "Then they bed down with the gators tonight. Let's get out of this devil's shit," said the other. The horses turned till all the racket faded away in the distance. Only when the hush hung for a good long spell did the group let themselves breathe. Later, as they unbent their cramped limbs, thinking of the worst had already passed, the boy took Suki's hand and pointed at the shallows. And that's when Suki saw it. His mama. His mama floated downstream, face down in the black water behind their hiding place. Her headscarf drifted like a blue flag. Her arms were flung high over her head like she was surrendering or maybe praying. Her dress spread around like a drowned flower. A rope cinched her thin waist, pulled tight by something heavy down below. Suki shut her eyes. She's seen this before. Sometimes a body just gave up. It lay down and it snuffed itself out, a candle drowned out by its own wax. "Don't make no sense, I tell you," said the abolitionist. But he didn't know her pain. He didn't know how hard it was to live in a world dead set against you. It was a choice. Now she was just one more body going down the stream for strangers to find, since there was no time left to lay her down proper. "I should have known it," said the old lady, wiping her eyes. "I should have known it." Suki pulled the crying boy close and thought, "I see you, sister. I know why you done what you done. But you ain't no nameless slave. I won't forget you. You part of my kinfolk now." Then Suki remembered the night she became the member of her family at age 12. That was when her mama gave her the magical relic, and she made a vow. She could still hear her voice. "Don't you let this world take who you is, child. They can sell your body, beat you senseless, but they can't snatch your name or who you is. Memory gonna keep you whole. Memory gonna keep our kinfolk alive." Suki hugged the boy, her voice steady and strong, and spoke up. "Come on now. We ain't through. Not by a long shot.